Hi guys, this is Nimsh and welcome to another Flesh and Blood video, and today we're going to talk about the teams because we do have an uprising world premiere which is going to feature the calling for Team Blitz, which is a pretty cool event. So I wanted to spend some time explaining how team events work and give you some pointers on how to get your team together, how to prepare, what mindset you should have, something not connected to the metagame, but all the psychological mindset stuff. And why I feel like I'm equipped to help you with this? Well, I've been leading Hearthstone Cloud9 team for a longer time, and I did play in a lot of team competitions, including the Krakow Team Blitz competition, so know more or less how that works. And I have a lot of experience with team play in card games. One of my favorite ones is being third at the World Championship team event for WoW TCG, with the Polish team taking the third place. So that out of the way, let's start. How does Team Blitz competition work in Flesh and Blood? So in Krakow, it worked in a way that you have 3 players. Every player has to bring a different deck. So the only difference, well, you can bring a competitive Blitz deck, but you cannot play the same hero. So you cannot have 2 players play Kasai, or 3 players play Kasai. If you want to all play warriors, where you have a choice, you can play Dorinthia, Kasai, and Bolton if you really want to, but you cannot have the same exact hero for 2 players. Then you sit in front of your opponents 3 by 3, and then your captain, I believe you were sitting, the captain was in the middle, but I think captain can be in a different position. What is very important though is that you can talk and communicate during that tournament. So you play 3 versus 3, you play your individual games, but you can ask for help from your teammates, and you can show them your hand and ask, hey, Fred, what would you do in this spot? Like, what's the line? And they can help you to spot lethal, can help you to discuss like what the best line is, which is very cool because then you really feel like you're playing together versus the other team. Obviously, to win, you need to win at least 2 matches versus them, and then the third one doesn't matter. You can tie. That happened to my team during Krakow, where one player won. I believe I lost, and then we tied in the third game. So unfortunately, that was a tie. It can still happen in a team competition, even though it's like kind of 3 by 3. So a lot of stuff to digest there. Let's talk about communication first. Communication is key because you will be able to talk to other teammates. So I definitely recommend to put the strongest player in the middle, or rather the player who's able to help out player on the left and player on the right. Because before your match finishes, you cannot stand up. You cannot just, like finish your match. All right, I've won. You stand up. And then you go around the table to help the other player. So we were told that you can't do this, which means that you're kind of anchored to your seat. Which means if you have a player who's the best on the left, they've won their match, and then on the right-hand side there is a player struggling with their all-hand plays, it's a bit awkward to like kind of reach out and help if there's someone big like me, like body blocking you in the middle. So I think you should put like the best player in the middle so they can help player on the left, player on the right if the matches are still ongoing. Small tidbit, I think it's a nice strategy to potentially give that player also a faster deck so they can finish their match faster and basically help the other player on the left and right. So that's one thing. Actually, let's move ahead and talk about team composition overall, because we are very close to those events. Those events are happening all over the world. We're going to have one in Sydney, Madrid, and Las Vegas. So all 3 regions are getting something. I personally I'm going to go to Madrid, so you can see me there with my team. I already have my teammates selected. I really hope they make it to the tournament, because if they don't, well, I might be recruiting one of you as a teammate for that. An important one as well, that actually LSS employees are able to play in those tournaments. So I don't know how they will find their teams, but maybe if you're missing a player, maybe you can get a developer to play with you, a designer. So that would be pretty fun. But team composition. So who do you want to play with? Obviously, it's not easy. Not all of us are just natural team of 3, where you just, I'm always playing with those 2 guys, so I'm going to come with them. There's sometimes people who play as a team of 2, or like, you have like 3 to 4 other friends that you would like to play with, and you unfortunately need to split and decide who do you play with. So that's already a bit of a challenge to start with. But remember, like all of the other teams and players are in the same position. It's not like everybody is very easily set up to have their team. People need to make decisions, or they already made decisions to create the best teams they can with regards to who they can play with. So team composition is one thing. Obviously, when you search for players, also try to mind who plays what with regards to their specialities. Like if you have 3 Kasai players, as I mentioned, and now you need to play 3 different classes, that might not be the best option, and potentially it's better to take someone to your team who's not a Kasai specialist. So yeah, it's team composition is very important to basically be able to get that group, but again, not very easy, and it's best to find people who are actually going to go to that event, and you can make sure that they will travel and you will be with that team on the day of the tournament. So I think that right now is the key, and then you can worry about other things later. So now that you have your team, it's very important to talk about the team motivation. What is the goal? What is everybody's goal? Because you need to be aligned. If one player really wants to go for the first place and they want to spend a lot of time to practice, and the other team members just want to chill and they really just want to go to have fun, your team is going to fall apart. And it's the same way if 2 players really want to practice and 1 player doesn't want to really practice, they don't have enough time, then that might be fine, but you have to agree that it's okay. You cannot just have a different expectation and then feel frustrated when the event happens when 1 player is not prepared enough. So it's all about communication and setting that goal for yourself so everybody is on the same page and knows exactly where you guys are going and what is the direction for the team. And now let's talk about the mindset. This is a different ballgame, guys. This is a different ballgame because when you play solo, you can only blame yourself or RNG for mistakes, for basically your losses, right? But in this case, it's very easy to blame others. It's like, hey, you haven't practiced enough. Why did you lose that matchup? Why didn't you win? Why didn't you win? And it's very easy to blame others. It's a reflex. It's very natural. So you have to remember that mindset, and playing as a team, as a unit, it's going to be very important. And it's so easy to fall into those traps of like, hey, I'm letting my team down. Like we've played 3 matches, we've won all of them, but I lost all of my games. I'm just bad. Like they look down on me. This is bad. If you think that, which is very natural, very human, just talk to others and talk to others to get yourself uplifted, because you win together and you lose together. On the other end of this, it's very easy also to be the winning player and just you've won all the games you played, but then maybe you lost 1 or 2 rounds with your team because the other guys lost and you feel like they are letting you down, and you start not even shouting, but you start making dry remarks, you're passive aggressive. It's very easy to destroy your team dynamic. And you have to remember, it's not about you. It's about a team. You cannot win this solo. Like you cannot win those team events solo. You have to win together as a team and lose as a team. And it's also not the end. It seems like the team events are very popular. This one is the highest stakes, which is, again, very important. We are not playing for booster packs and tickets. We're playing for gold foils, so players will be more stressed. The stakes are higher, so keep that in mind. But as I'm saying, this is most likely not the last team event we're going to play. There have been a lot of side events for team competition already in Flesh and Blood, and maybe, there's going to be more. Maybe there is going to be a Team World Championship. Maybe this is going to be an armory or kind of skirmish format at some point. Seems like LSS does like team competition, so this team might be your team for the future. And even if there is no more team competitions with the players you're going to match up with, potentially this is your new playtesting group. Like you will learn more about yourselves. You will be playing together. And actually, let's talk about preparation. So I think this is the great moment to really discuss the weaknesses and strengths of your team. And nobody's perfect. And we don't have enough time to make perfect teams. As I mentioned, team composition is hard for most of the teams. There is no perfect team that is going to show up and destroy everybody, because first, there haven't been enough team competitions and it's hard to find your teammates, not to mention the specialities and everything. So you just need to iron out like what are the weaknesses and strengths of the team and work on them together as much as you can to present your team as the best you can be during that event. And you won't be perfect. It's just the best you can, especially if that's the goal for the team, because if your goal is just to chill, great, that's fine as well. But if you're trying to win, then try to identify who is bad at what and uplift them, level up together, and I think you're gonna be good. So spend time on preparation together, use that time well. We still have a couple weeks. Build your team well, mind the mindset, higher stakes, very easy to blame others. and to get stressed, and even with communication. This is very important, actually. Let me talk about it for a moment. So I suggested to get the strongest player in the middle, but it needs to be kind of like a communicator as well, because we are just human and people will be failing with their emotions and with their gameplay. So it's probably better to get a person that is going to align everybody and be like the level-headed person who's going to lead the team in a way. It's up to your team, like what balance do you want, but maybe two team members, they don't work too well together, but because there is that leader, you're going to still work well as a team. So a lot of things come into that team building and are going to add up to your success and potentially help you with the victory and getting to top 8 or winning the whole thing. So it's super fun. I love team events. There's a lot coming into it. We haven't even touched upon the metagame because the metagame right now is very fresh after the bans. So I'm looking forward myself to testing for Blitz. Hopefully somewhere in the middle of the ProQuest season. But I hope you guys are going to enjoy this wherever you play, Sydney, Las Vegas, Madrid. If you're in Madrid, just come over and say hi. And that will be it for me for today. So thank you very much for watching. See you guys in the next video.